The Lord of an alternate world regrets creating humans and sends several calamities to kill them. But there's someone who risks himself to protect the next savior of humanity. While everyone is busy in their mortal lives, an archangel named Michael falls on Earth to carry out a special task. He pulls out his wings and sews the wounds left behind. Then he breaks into a weapons storage and steals bags full of guns. The police catch him red-handed and order him to surrender. But all of a sudden, one of the police officers changes his appearance. His eyes turn dull and teeth get pointed. He stares at Michael and asks why he is going against the orders. In response, Michael declares that from now on, he will follow his own mind. He shoots the officer and takes the police car to travel to his destination. Meanwhile, in Mojave Desert, a young girl named Charlie is pregnant while her boyfriend has refused to take the responsibility of the child. She works as a waitress in a restaurant named Paradise Falls Diner. Luckily, she has a strong friendship with Jeep, the son of the restaurant owner, Bob. Charlie is planning to give her child up for adoption as she can't afford to be a mother. Jeep feels sorry for her and offers to share the responsibility of the child. Charlie calls Jeep an angel, but she doesn't allow him to carry the weight of others' mistakes. The next morning, a married couple, Howard and Sandra, stop at the restaurant along with their rebel daughter, Audrey. Their car engine has shut down, and they will be stuck here for a few hours. Another customer named Kyle reaches the restaurant looking for a phone booth, as there's no service on his cell phone. Charlie suggests that he can ask Bob to let him use the landline. They get inside the restaurant, and Bob notices that Charlie is smoking again. He advises her to quit, but she reminds Bob that he is a smoker too. But Bob refuses to accept that and says that the lighter he keeps is just a memory of his wife. Sandra interrupts them to ask how long Jeep will take to fix their car. Bob gets out to check on him and takes this as a chance to discuss an important matter. He doesn't want Jeep to follow Charlie like a puppy and take the responsibility for her reckless acts. Jeep says he can't help himself. He has been having weird dreams for days, which makes him think that he must look after Charlie and her child. Hearing this, Bob admits that he also used to have dreams and took them seriously. His wife stopped him from building a restaurant in the middle of nowhere, but Bob thought it would be successful as he won't be having any competition. But now Bob has realized that he was wrong. He doesn't want his son to make the same mistake and regret his whole life. Jeep doesn't say anything in response, and Bob gets back inside. He notices that the television has stopped working and climbs a chair to fix it. Meanwhile, Kyle uses the landline to call his son but doesn't get the chance to talk to him, and the call drops. The radio isn't working either. Everyone starts making different assumptions. There can be an earthquake or a terrorist attack that has disrupted the communication system. Bob doesn't take this matter seriously and tells Sandra that her car is going to be fixed soon, so her family can get back on their way. After a while, an old lady enters the restaurant and orders a steak. She seems really friendly and greets everyone. Sandra asks the old lady if she knows why there's no phone service, but the old lady says there's nothing to worry as it will be over soon. When Charlie brings the food, the old lady asks about the baby and unexpectedly says that the baby's gonna burn. Charlie leaves in anger, but Sandra asks why she said that. The old lady starts to use abusive language, so Howard walks to her to make her apologies. But all of a sudden, the old lady uses her sharp teeth to bite Howard's neck. He is severely injured, while the old lady is climbing the walls like a monster. She attacks Bob, and his gun falls in front of Jeep, but the kind boy can't bring himself to shoot someone. Luckily, Kyle has a gun too, and he shoots the monster to death. Howard is bleeding continuously, so the restaurant chef, Percy, takes Howard and his family towards the city in Kyle's vehicle. But just after a few miles, they witness a swarm of insects heading their way. The insects enter the car and make them return to the restaurant. It's been an hour since that old lady died, but her body is still warm. It may not be safe to keep her inside, so they wrap her in a plastic bag and hide her outside. Bob notices a police car heading their way and feels relieved. It's Michael, the angel. Bob points the gun at him and asks Michael to show his teeth. They seem normal, but Bob is still not satisfied because he doesn't seem like a policeman. Michael doesn't have time for this and snatches the gun in a smooth motion. Percy begs him not to kill anyone, but Michael isn't interested in doing that anyway. He tells them that there are more like the old lady, and they are coming this way. He returns the gun to Bob and gets more guns from the car to give one to each of them. They are going to need them soon. They all get inside and lock the door. As soon as the night sets in, they hear an ice cream truck coming. The men get on the roof, and Michael briefly tells them how to use the guns. The ice cream truck stops in front of the restaurant, and a man steps out. He seems normal at first, but then his arms and legs grow longer than usual, and he turns into a monster. Michael shoots him, but he wasn't the last one. A huge lane of cars head their way, and they all have turned into some demonic creatures. Michael instructs his team to keep shooting. He even uses bombs to destroy the enemy's cars. One of the monsters breaks through the window and pulls Howard outside. After a while, the monsters leave by themselves. Michael gets down and finally explains the current situation. He says that the Lord has lost his faith in humans. At first, he sent a flood, and now he sent an army of monsters to sweep away the human race. The humans are possessed to act like this, and behind this is not the demons, but angels who are ordered to kill humans. Michael was one of them too, but he had faith in humanity. He came here to protect Charlie because her child is the last hope to save humanity. Charlie can't believe this. She is just a waitress. How could her child be fated to carry out such a noble task? But Michael says it doesn't matter who she is. Either the child lives or mankind dies. All the possessed humans will reach here again to kill the child. Their first attack was just testing the water. Next one is going to be severe. Percy and Kyle head to the roof to keep an eye on the intruders. Kyle says that it's the first time he has used his gun. He only kept it to scare others and never thought he would actually fire at someone. Percy is recalling his childhood. When he was a kid, his father would sit by his bed every night before he went to sleep. He used to say, "Percy, my son, if you don't wake up tomorrow and today is your last day, would you be proud of what you have done so far? If not, then you should start working on that." Percy believes we should live every day as our last day on Earth and make a difference. Kyle is left speechless after this conversation and starts rethinking his life decisions. Meanwhile, Bob is cooking some food and offers Sandra to eat. If the world is ending, that doesn't mean they should starve themselves. On the other side, Michael and Jeep are preparing for the attack. Michael wants Jeep to understand his situation. He says that he used to be like a soldier who served his master, but the master lost faith, but Michael didn't. Jeep wonders how Michael can still have faith. Jeep himself lost everything he kept faith in. Believing in things only brought trouble. Hearing this, Michael tells him more about the Lord. When the humans were created, Michael started to have big hopes, but then he saw humans being ungrateful, killing each other over race and greed, fighting wars over dust and proudly writing their violence in books. But in the midst of all this darkness, Michael saw a few people who never give up despite failing again and again. Jeep is one of them. He was 15 when his mother left, and his father separated himself from the rest of the world. Jeep sacrificed 5 years of youth to help his dad in his unsuccessful business. Then Jeep fell in love with a woman who is having someone else's child, but Jeep still loves her even after knowing that she will never love him the same way. People like Jeep are the reason Michael still has faith in humanity. It's time for the next shift, so Michael and Bob head to the roof to guard. The next morning, Sandra is awakened by a familiar voice. She rushes to the door and peeks through the window. It's Howard. He is tied up and screaming for help. Sandra starts unlocking the door, and Percy and Audrey try stopping her. Sandra doesn't listen and runs toward Howard, who suddenly explodes like an acid bomb. Percy shields Sandra and brings her back inside, but he is severely burnt by the acid and dies. Bob blames himself for the incident as he fell asleep and didn't keep an eye on the road. But Michael comforts him and explains that everything is not under their control. Sandra is tied to a chair so she doesn't do anything crazy again. Audrey is treating her mother really politely, but Sandra has totally lost her mind. She blames Audrey for all what happened. Sandra believes her life would be better if Audrey was never born. Kyle scolds Sandra for torturing her poor daughter and asks Audrey to check the radio. She can hear something and calls everyone to listen. The military has managed to secure some places from the apocalypse, and one of those places is just an hour away from the restaurant. Audrey and others want to leave, but Michael says they can't take any risk until the child is born. Hearing this, Charlie recalls the time when she got to know she was pregnant. She tells Jeep that she never wanted the child and even went for an abortion. While sitting in the waiting room, she started to have this weird feeling. She felt like she was falling into the deepest, darkest hole imaginable. It was like dying. When the doctor called her, she ran away blindly and avoided thinking about the abortion. On the other hand, she knew that she couldn't afford it, and this made her hate the baby. Jeep advises her not to think like that. He believes that she can go through it. Charlie needs to understand everyone faces hard times, and they need faith to survive. Meanwhile, Audrey joins Kyle on the guard. She blames herself for her father's death. She has never been a good daughter. But Kyle says that it's not all her fault. He also was a spoiled teenager because his father only paid attention when he did something bad. But when Kyle became an adult and got a family, he realized that he can't be bad anymore. One day, You have to take responsibility for your deeds. Suddenly, the electricity is restored and surprises everyone. Kyle notices a car coming this way. It seems like a normal guy and his little kid. They stop by the gas station and the man steps out to fill his car, but several other vehicles are heading this way too. Kyle shouts at the man to get back in the car, but before he can, other cars reach there and the possessed humans kill him. The kid reminds Kyle of his own son and he jumps down to save him. Bob wants to go out to help Kyle, but Michael doesn't let him open the door. Otherwise, they all will die. Kyle rescues the kid, but the innocent-looking kid is also possessed and attacks Kyle. Audrey rushes to help him, but Kyle is already dead. Audrey locks herself in the car, but she is still in danger. Charlie tells Michael if he doesn't save Audrey, Charlie will. To keep the child safe, Michael gets out to rescue Audrey. He successfully brings her inside, but the possessed kid also sneaks in. He grabs a knife to attack Charlie. The lights turn off again, but Jeep and Michael kill the possessed kid. Charlie starts crying in pain as she is about to give birth. With Audrey and Michael, the child is finally born. Audrey shows him to her mother, and Sandra regrets what she said to Audrey. Every child is the most precious one for his parents. Hearing the baby's voice, the possessed humans start to retreat. None of them can come near the baby. So the Lord is going to send another archangel named Gabriel to kill the child. Sandra breaks ties and grabs the baby. She believes if they throw away the baby, they all will be saved. To protect the baby, Michael shoots Sandra. However, Gabriel has already arrived. Michael gives the child to Jeep and asks him to wait for the instructions. Jeeps run away along with Charlie and Audrey while Michael faces Gabriel and gets killed. The injured Bob burns his restaurant to kill Gabriel, but the angel survives and goes after the baby. Jeep applies sudden brakes, which causes Gabriel to fall out of the windshield while the car crashes on the side. Audrey dies on spot while Jeep and Charlie take the baby on a nearby cliff. The instructions have appeared on Jeep's body and he keeps fighting to protect the child. Gabriel proceeds to kill him but gets stopped by Michael. He has been reborn as an archangel. All this was Lord's plan to test his angels, whether they will follow orders blindly or keep faith in what's right. Michael has passed this test and Gabriel failed. Hearing this, Gabriel returns to the sky. Michael has to go too, but Jeep wants to know when they can meet again. In response, Michael tells him to keep faith. The sun rises, and Jeep and Charlie head to the town to start a new life with the baby. At the end, it's all about keeping faith.